Hey everybody, Charlie902 here and welcome back to Star Citizen. We're here at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2952, Day 4. And as you can see in the distance there, we have alien ships. All the alien manufacturers and alien replica manufacturers are here today. Alright, let's check it out. So we got the main hall and down below. So let's go ahead and check out everything. Shouldn't be too awful long today. There's not a ton of alien ships that are available flight ready. All the ones that are flight ready you can see before you here. We'll take a look at all of them, starting with one of my favorite alien ships, the Banu Defender. As you can see, it looks just like a crab. I've got a full review on it. We'll take a peek inside if I can open it up. Whoop, about to get crushed. This guy opened the door, or this lady rather. As you can see, looks like a crab. I love the design. It's kind of got a bio-organic feel to it. If you look up in here, it looks like the ship is grown. I really like that. It's got two cockpits. There's not really like a primary and a secondary. They're both primary. So you can fly from either side and you can co-pilot from either side. We got a bed. We got, this is supposed to be in this section here. Yeah, see how it highlights there? That's where the components are supposed to be. And I imagine back here as well. You have weapon rack and another bed. And then I really like the ramp with the stairs that fold up. And if you can kind of look here, we have like textured gold. Really nice looking ship. And when you take off and fly, these two arms here that are kind of in a aggressive stance for landing will actually stretch forward really far out in front of the ship. It handles very well. It's classified as a light fighter, but I would almost call this a heavy fighter. It doesn't have the weaponry of a heavy fighter, but it has the range. It has insane quantum fuel tank size. It has internal space that you can sleep and log out in, and it has a medium shield. So maybe we'll call it a medium fighter, and we can call it good with that. Really like this thing for package delivery missions. And for space dogfighting and combat, it's actually a really good ship. Overpriced, though, at $220. So if you can earn that in game, I would. If you just really like alien ships, then go ahead and get you one of these. Now, also, this is supposed to fit inside of a Banu merchantman. They're supposed to have a hangar that is bespoke for the Banu Defender here. So we'll have to see how that works. But it's supposed to be able to dock are inside of the hangar and ride along with the Banu Defender, or excuse me, with the Banu Merchantman. All right, let's continue on. Next is probably the most egregiously overpriced ship in the game for what you get. Now, there are some super expensive ships in the game, upwards of $2,000, which is insane. You should not be spending that kind of money unless you just really have money to burn and want to support the development of the game. But those ships that cost that much, I feel like you get a lot more bang for your buck than you do with this one here. This is the Xperia Prowler. It is a replica of a Tavaran Prowler ship, which is a stealth drop ship. Now, that's a cool idea, and it's a very cool looking ship. These kind of nacelles here, or wings, whatever you want to call them, will actually fold up and looks kind of like a Falcon dive bombing, which I think is a cool aesthetic. And as you can see, there's no glass up front, so the cockpit and the co-pilot seat, which sits below them, has kind of like an, not an AR cockpit, a virtual cockpit. That's the word I want to use. But the problem is this thing costs $440, which is just insane. I mean, you can get a reclaimer, the thing that was huge and actually had a salvage gameplay loop that would earn money, as opposed to this, a military dropship. Now, you do have size 4 weapons here, and I believe there are a couple of size 3s on top, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll go ahead and take a look at it. Now, it also has Gravlev tech. That's these discs right here. And that's going to make it kind of glide across the ground, so you can kind of come into your target kind of farther away, glide in across the ground to kind of sneak under like radar. It does have some cool features. I really like the entryway here. The inside is just menacing looking. And these are the drop seats. You kind of like stand in them. You see one here. And then there is, see if we can open them. There are doors opposite the drop seat. So you're sitting here, you go into the drop zone, and then you just pop out the side here. Now there's supposed to be a shield here to keep the atmosphere out. And you can kind of see it at the bottom here. You see this kind of red going up here. So you can have these doors open even in space and it won't vent the atmosphere inside. Yeah, you can actually see it here. See, we're going to go through it right there. So that's kind of cool, but still, I don't think it's $440 worth. I got some weapon racks here. I believe there's weapon racks in between the seats. They're here. There they are. And then this is the co-pilot seat. If we head up top, that's the door. How do we head up top? Right here. I had one of these for a brief moment just to fly it around, but it's been a while ago. There's the pilot seat. Hello, pilot. And then you have your component access up here for your various components. You have a good day, sir. But that's really all there is to the ship. I mean, it's a drop ship. I mean, you can try to dogfight in it, but you're not going to have the best time. So really only if you're interested in the very niche aspect or gameplay loop of wanting to have a stealth dropship would this be worth anything. And I don't think it's worth $440, despite how undeniably cool this thing looks. And that's going to be kind of the trend with alien ships. There is a thing that we dub as alien tax, meaning that because it's unique and because it's alien, they just cost more just because. So here is, which one is this one? Is this the Blade? Glaive. I'm sorry. I mix up a lot of these Vanduul ship names, especially these older ones. So you see how this is kind of like a junkyard looking kit bash ship? This was the original aesthetic of the Vanduul ships. Now the Vanduul are the big bads in Star Citizen. They're the alien race that's basically taking over the galaxy, and then they, destroy enemy ships, take their parts, make their own ships out of them, right? This is originally what they looked like a long time ago, and I'm talking, what was this? This came out 2015, 2014, maybe even earlier. So that's how they look. That's why some of these weapons look kind of old. That's why the design looks kind of old on this. Definitely wouldn't recommend this for the money, but it does have a cool way that you get into it. You kind of are laying forward in the cockpit due to how the Vanduul are actually taller than humans and how they fit in their ships, kind of laying forward. Now let's see if we can find the new aesthetic. Here we go. It's on this side. So this is the new art direction of the Vanduul. Now I believe this one's called the Blade. It's the light fighter, the light skirmisher. The Glaive is more the heavy fighter over there. But it's eventually going to look similar to this, just in a larger stance with larger weapons. So you can kind of see where they're going with it. Kind of like the black, semi-organic and red with more alien-looking lines. I definitely like this style better, even though it does look kind of like the bat. What's the bat plane called? Is it called the bat plane? The bat chopper? It's not the bat chopper. The bat wing. That's what it's called. Kind of looks like that, right? Also wouldn't recommend this. Way overpriced. Most of these alien ships I wouldn't recommend. Maybe the Defender, simply because it has utility of having the beds inside and the long range. But even though there's better choices, unless you simply just want something to pair with your Banu Merchantman. This one is in landed mode. This is the Kartu Al from Aopoa, I believe that's how it's pronounced, or Aopoa. I don't know if I can say that right. It's in its landed configuration. You can see it has these hover steps, hover technology. This is very Flight of the Navigator to me, and if you get that reference, it's time to go get your prostate checked. So this thing has these MAV thrusters here. You see there's 4 big thrusters that are kind of set in these gimbals, right? And they allow you to have excellent strafing and maneuverability. The weapons have been upgunned. I believe they're 2 size 4s now, so that's actually helped a lot. This is officially labeled a scout craft. Now when you take off, it will actually transform like a flower, and this will be the bottom of the ship. It'll actually be down here, and this tall portion will actually be directly above you, and you'll be looking out of the front of this glass here. It's a cool ship for sure. One of the most unique looking in Star Citizen thus far. I really enjoy the aesthetic. The color red on it is nice. Even got the gold, kind of like Iron Man there. But once again, just not worth the price that you have to pay for it. This would be something that personally I would look for in game. I mean, you got to have goals in the game, right? So my goals are to collect these rare and unique alien ships in the game. So now we got a pair of ships. These are both the Asperia Talon. This one is the Talon Shrike, I believe. Yep. And this one is missile based. So you have bespoke missile launchers on the bottom here. And I believe that's all it has, is just a crap ton of missiles. Let's see if we can get in it. Will it let us? We can rent it. Alright. Don't see a way to get in, but much like the Prowler, which is also a Tavaran ship, this is Tavaran, they make their ships look like birds. It has an iridescent paint job, which I think is cool, and then it also has a virtual cockpit. And this whole front section right here is supposed to be able, of this cockpit, is supposed to be able to jettison as kind of like an escape pod, which I think is cool. This is the missile boat variant. Look at these wings, these are cool looking, right? You can see through them. They look very insect-like also. You got these tail things that come back. Very cool design. Look at that thing. And then there's one over here. If I would recommend one of these two, because these are actually quite capable light fighters. And the price on these isn't too awful high compared to other light fighters. It's just above a Buccaneer. I believe these are about just over 100, if I'm not mistaken. This is the one I would recommend. It has dual size 4 weapons here, and it still has some missiles, but it doesn't have the bespoke missile racks here. Very cool ship. I don't know if I would go for one. I'm just against buying fighters in general, especially cheaper ones like that. I would say Vanguard or probably Banu Defender if you're going to have a fighter that you can multitask with. But still, very cool ships. That's the Talon Shrike. And the Talon, what is this one called? Just Talon? Let's see real quick. Just Talon. So base Talon and Talon Shrike. All right, let's go check out the concepts downstairs, and then we'll wrap this up. Like I said, there's not a ton for Alien Day. At least not yet. Not until the Merchantman arrives. Then we're going to have to spend hours in here going through the Merchantman, which we're going to go talk about down here as we look at the ground vehicles and the future concepts. So we should have one of my favorite ground vehicles, actually. Oh, it's going to be on the other side. Let's go check it out first so we can finish up in the hollow room. Let's run over here and try not to pass out. Here you go. The Aopoa Nox hoverbike. I love this thing. It looks like Star Citizen's take on a floating Akira bike, right? With this huge, like, chunky front end. It's got a couple weapons. You sit in it much like you would a sport bike, with your legs kind of back and your body kind of forward. I just think these are cool. I'm really looking forward to the day when they actually, like, get some roads and get some land courses for you to race these on. These would be a blast. Now, the problem is they are very long, which makes them look super cool, but it also limits the amount of ships that you can actually fit them in. So something like a, what is it called, the Ranger, should be able to fit in more ships, even though it won't float and look nearly as cool as this thing. All right, moving on. Enough about ground vehicles. Do not waste cash on ground vehicles. You can earn the money to buy a ground vehicle in just a few hours of play in the game, at least in the current state. Your money would be far better spent on a spaceship. So here we go. Here's another one from Aopoa. And this is the, let me see if I can get this right, the Santak Ai. I believe that's how it's pronounced, but if I got that wrong, I am sorry. I don't speak alien. This is the medium fighter. So just like the Kartu-Al up top, which is the Scout, this is the upgunned version of that. And you can kind of see how those gimbaled MAV thrusters, which also double as main thrusters, kind of fold out. So you're facing forward. So you have 4 size 3s. You can see them here. And then on the tail of the ship, all of your components are supposed to be on a rack that comes out back here. And there's supposed to be a weapons rack, I believe. So definitely a cool ship. I don't know if it's one for me. I feel like you can see how brittle it looks like it would be to take a hit with these thrusters just being held on by these arms here. You also have a very, very large front profile, So granted, you can strafe very well with this because these are gimbaled. I just don't know how effective this will be. We'll just have to wait and see. As of right now, this costs the same as a Banu Defender. It will go up in price. It's $220 right now. And once it's released, I imagine this will probably be closer to $240, would be my guess. Maybe $250. All right, moving on. Next. This is one of the alien ships that I actually do own. This is called the Banu Merchantman. And you can't quite tell from here, but this is the bridge to give you a sense of scale here. All right. This is a large bazaar. And by bazaar, I don't mean that it's strange looking, which it is, but it's a bazaar in the sense that there's a market inside, several shops, and then a huge cargo hold at the bottom. And this is supposed to go around and sell goods out of the shops and collect rare and unique items. All right, and then there is a bay up on the top here. You can kind of see the doors here. And that'll open up and a Banu Defender can park right inside. It also has massive guns that are hidden up here. This should be size 8. These little shields will retract and reveal size 8 guns. Awesome ship. I'm really looking forward to it. It may be a couple years before we see it yet, but I am excited about it. This holo model has definitely been updated from the last time I've seen it. And is that it? No, that's not it. There's got to be something else. There we go. So this is the Gatak Raylan. You can see right there, Gatak is the brand. This, even though it looks kind of like a pufferfish with the eyes here, this is a cargo ship, and you can see the cargo pods on the back here. It is a medium ship, medium ship, medium large. Meant to haul a good amount of cargo externally, but has living quarters inside. Definitely a unique ship, not one that I would personally recommend, though it does have a good amount of firepower, so it may be a decent blockade runner. But I think there are probably better and more economic choices for this price range for hauling cargo. All right. By the way, the CCU for today is for the Banu Merchantman, which has went up in price from $550 to $650, which is insane. I picked one of these up when they were $250, and I thought that was a lot to spend on one. But anyway, you can get a $5 CCU to the Banu Merchantman from either a Liberator or a Orion, and save yourself, I believe it's a $50 savings or close to it. Definitely check that out, so don't take my word for it. Just check out the CCU yourself and do the math yourself. But if you're looking for a ship that's either the Banu Merchantman or higher priced than that, then definitely you want to pick up one of those CCUs and save yourself some money. All right, with that being said, that's going to do it for today. I know it's kind of a shorter episode, but there's just not a ton of vehicles on display today, not like certainly like the Aegis day that we had yesterday. But if you like my content, please consider a like, a comment, and or subscribe. Stay tuned for the next day. Let's check what's on the schedule. I believe it is Anvil, but let me verify here. All right, here is the list. Yes, it is Anvil Aerospace, which is a big competitor to Aegis, so there'll be a lot of ships on Anvil Day, and there may be some surprises. So stay tuned for that episode. We'll see you then. Thank you, and goodbye.